Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today we have a ton of good news to go over. There's plenty of really exciting announcements, but unfortunately there's also some bad news, like the rumor that the new Astro Bot is not going to be a VR game. So we'll get into all of that today. Like I said, there's more good than bad, so this should be a very positive news week. But yeah, we got to go over everything. Now, there are, of course, links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by VR Rock, makers of prescription lens inserts for all of your favorite VR headsets. Quest 3 inserts are now available for purchase, and I'm extremely happy to announce that they've significantly dropped their pricing on this product. They magnetically connect for easy insertion and removal, so if you wear eyeglasses and struggle to fit them inside the VR headset, or you're concerned about scratching your lenses, go check out VR Rock down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 10% off and to help support my channel. And let's start today's video off like normal with the check-in, and it's Cosmo! I got a dog for my birthday. I got a dog. And he'll probably impact some creation on this channel. I already missed Saturday's video because that's when I got him. But he's awesome. I love him. I'm super happy. My wife is amazing for getting me a dog for my birthday. I've always wanted one. He's the best. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, drop them down. I'm still playing games. He might slow me down, but he's worth it. Okay, let's just get into the news for real now. Okay, so first up in new releases, we have Unknown Lands, which actually surprise dropped last week. This is a story-driven action-adventure title rooted in Egyptian mythology. As expected, things never go well when you start exploring tombs, so not only will you have to make your way through a series of challenging puzzles, but also battle your way through some mythological creatures. Lucky for you though, this archaeologist is packing some heat. Honestly, I haven't seen or heard anything about this game, but the handful of reviews that are up right now all sound positive, and if you're interested in a story-driven action-adventure title, you might want to check this game out. Now moving on to this week's upcoming new releases, first up is the off-roading game Mudrunner VR. Take control of 8 unique all-terrain vehicles and adventure across vast landscapes in either a story or free play mode. Now this is yet another game with flat screen roots that was well received. Now it doesn't look like Mudrunner VR is a direct port, but rather a whole new version. And finally, we have Formula 1 2024 releasing for PC VR. Prepare to jump into one of the most fast-paced racing simulation games that also just so happens to be stunningly beautiful. The game utilizes the latest and greatest bells and whistles such as ray tracing, eye tracking support, custom hardware support such as controllers, wheels, and pedals, and finally Steam Workshop support for some additional player-made content that you could try out after you finish the career mode. So as long as this game doesn't flop, it looks like PC VR will finally have an answer to Gran Turismo. Now moving into game updates and new announcements, we have a lot of really cool stuff to go over, and I'm just going to order these from my least to most excited, starting with a brand new Warhammer 40k VR experience. Now, just like Henry Cavill, I am an absolute Warhammer 40k nerd, but I'm not super excited about this announcement because it's only a VR arcade experience. Releasing in October and coming exclusively to zero latency, soon you'll get to don that iconic Space Marine armor and mow down a horde of Tyranids, the bug-like alien creatures that are found in the 40k universe. 40k is an amazing lore-rich world which needs to be explored a lot more, but to give it the respect it deserves, it requires high-budget production value, so maybe they can actually pull that off in a 10 to 15 minute VR arcade experience. Unfortunately though, there's no zero latency arcade anywhere near me, so I don't think I'm going to try this out anytime soon, but if I ever see it, yeah, I'm going to jump in there and I will tell you guys all about it. Best I can do. Now moving on, years after the game's original launch, Beat Saber is still giving us free updates. Original Soundtrack 7 was just teased to be coming soon, and generally when Beat Games gives us these new soundtracks, they also release a little surprise in there, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. But I'm even more excited to see what Sin Studio is currently working on. The studio behind Swordsman VR recently received $2.5 million to help develop their next game, an online PvP fighting title. Over the years, Sin Studio managed to take Swordsman VR from a game that I thought was just okay to easily one of the best arena fighting games in VR. Now their new title has me extremely excited because no one's ever truly nailed online PvP fighting games in VR just yet. There was a classic PC VR title called Swords of Gura that I absolutely loved and attempted this, but unfortunately it was ahead of its time and even came before the Quest started to get popular. So the game just had no true player base to keep it alive, which is an absolute sin because it was extremely impressive. I hope the game that Sin Studio is working on right now will scratch that same itch, and since it's going to be free to play, I'm sure there won't be an issue with the overall player base. And the final update that I'm extremely excited for is Phoenix Royale coming to Population 1. I actually jumped into this a few hours already with a ton of content creators, and it is an absolute blast. I've talked about my personal experience with Battle Royales, how I'm not the biggest fan. I think it's too slow paced. I grew up on arena shooters, so I want to go, go, go. I feel like they've completely changed the structure of Battle Royale. No, they are not trying to chase after Contractors Showdown, copy the stuff they did. Nope. This is a completely different game mode. I feel like they've just upended Battle Royale completely. It's a whole new mode. I absolutely love it. It has a lot more mainstream appeal. It's a lot more forgiving. If you die, you could get back into the game right away. And honestly, I just love every change they made. If you're not into Battle Royale, or even if you weren't into Population 1, you should jump back in once this is released and check it out, because it's like a 10 out of 10 for me. I love every single change they made, and I am not overhyping it. Just wait. I will cover this later in the week if you don't believe me. So make sure to subscribe, turn notifications on, and you won't miss that content. And before we get into that bad news, we just have one more really cool story to go over, and that is the potential leaked specs for the Quest 3S or Quest 3 Lite, whatever they're going to end up calling it. But it looks like we might know what the specs are. Slightly skeptical here, but honestly, these leaks and rumors are usually dead on. So let's go over those real fast and just talk about what it means. Basically, the Quest 3S looks like a combination between the Quest 3 and Quest 2. We know it's designed to be a cheaper way for people to get into the Quest 3 ecosystem, and in order to do that, they included a lower resolution LCD panel and are also using the older school Fresnel lenses. It's kind of like they're mixing the optics of the Quest 2 with the internals of the Quest 3. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's just a potential leak, but it makes sense. It's in line with what I expected. They cut the optics back so that they can lower the price down to around $300, $350 maybe, get the Quest 3 ecosystem to grow just like the Quest 2 did, because we're already starting to leave the Quest 2 behind. So ultimately, I would expect this to be dead on, completely true. And it's pretty exciting because the Quest 3S owners won't be losing too much. I know it sucks you don't have the pancake optics. That sucks. The LCD panel, not as big a deal because most games don't run at the Quest 3's current native resolution. Actually, like nothing does. So the render resolution is high enough. So we're not going to see a huge drop in clarity in games. And hopefully the ecosystem just grows really fast. But let's keep moving, guys. Unfortunately, from here, we are now sliding into bad news territory. The first rumor would be an absolute tragedy if it's true, and it's the fact that we're getting a brand new Astro Bot, but he's only coming to the PlayStation 5, not the PlayStation VR 2. It's been nearly 6 years, and Astro Bot Rescue Mission still remains as my top tier VR platforming game. I'm not a big fan of platformers, but the game absolutely blew me away, and it's up there right next to Moss Book 1 and 2. It is absolutely fantastic. And I completely love Astro's Playroom on PlayStation 5. I played that to death with my daughter. We unlocked every trophy. So I'm pumped for a new Astro, but I'm really upset if he doesn't make his way into VR, because it's almost like a slap in the face to PlayStation VR 2 owners. It's the game we know everyone wants, but I've talked about it so many times. I'm not here to crap on the PlayStation VR 2. Sony's going to follow the numbers. So they're going to go where they're going to be more profitable. And unfortunately, those numbers just aren't there on the PlayStation VR 2. Sorry, guys. So I really hope the rumor's not true. I have a feeling it might be. We'll just wait and see what happens. And the other bit of bad news, we know that Meta and LG were working together on a new headset, big project together. Unfortunately, things may have fallen through, and whatever they're working on is now pushed back to 2027. There's some good and bad news mixed in here. Now, last week I showed off the new 4K micro OLED screen from LG, which would be absolutely amazing in a new VR headset. I talked about why the technology matters so much. I know I go on and on about software is greater than hardware in terms of VR right now. We do need better and more software. The hardware is good enough right now. Definitely needs to keep improving. But I went on about why this would be a huge boon for VR in general. Unfortunately, though, whatever's going on internally, yeah, it looks like nothing's going to come between this relationship for a few more years. On the tail end of that, though, it's good enough that companies are looking that far ahead. Like Meta, we know they are all in for VR. They have a 10-year VR plan. You never know what's going to really happen. It might take a weird turn somewhere in there, but they're all in. They're going to keep throwing billions into VR. That is their plan, and they're not deviating. But other companies, their interests, will wane and peak based on where the market is and based how they're doing. So the fact that they're still open to working and just slowing things down is fine because they think VR is continuing to grow. And in 2027, it'll be even better opportunity than 2024. Sucks for us right now. We want everything. We want the best of the best. But it shows there's growth potential. They still see a future in VR. And just like us, I think it's just going to get better and better over time. Now, that was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And because everyone constantly asks for it, we'll end the video with this girl.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for my daddy.
Good job.
Bye.